Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to unbox this Tamiya M-06 Lotus Europa Special RC Car Kit. Let's jump right into it and take a look at the box. This is a 1/10 scale radio control high performance sports car built on Tamiya's M-06 chassis. It has a 25mm wheelbase, rear mounted motor, and rear wheel drive. This kit comes with a Hobbywing 1060 electronic speed controller and a 540 size motor included in the box. It says right here the cockpit parts and driver figures are not included. Let's move on to this bottom panel and read about the Lotus Europa Special. It says here about the model. The Lotus Europa debuted in 1966, showcasing what was then a revolutionary midship layout with a lightweight FRP body and making a global splash thanks in part to its top-class cornering. In 1972, perhaps the finest model in the series was released with a 126 horsepower 1.6-liter inline-4 engine, optional 5-speed transmission, and aluminum wheels. This RC model assembly kit recreates this popular lightweight sports car developed by Lotus founder Colin Chapman. A polycarbonate body captures the sharp, low-slung form in style, with separate parts included to depict light cases, side mirrors, and rear wing. Dedicated stickers are also included to recreate gold body pinstripes inspired by the Lotus car which flourished in Formula One. The model is based upon the rear-wheel drive M-06 chassis, 225mm wheelbase. Let's take a look at the other side of the box. It says here up top, battery position can be adjusted on middle 225mm and long 239mm wheelbase chassis. Features front, rear semi-pneumatic tires with carved thread patterns and superior grip for high stability and speedy running. Urethane bumper, steering servo, battery pack, electric motor, electric speed controller not included, receiver not included, coil spring damper unit. Bathtub chassis features longitudinally placed battery with electronics positioned on either sides for optimum balance and low center of gravity. The rear-mounted motor realizes an RR rear motor rear-wheel drive layout which emphasizes rear tire traction for superb stability and controllability. Chassis may be assembled into one of three wheelbase lengths: 210mm, 225mm, 239mm, making it compatible with a wide range of M chassis bodies. For your safety, please use Tamiya battery packs with output of 7.2 volts and below. Paint body with Tamiya paints not included. Ready to assemble radio control model kit. Not suitable for children under 14 years of age. Model may vary from image on box. Tire surface discoloration do not affect performance. Model is not snowproof or waterproof. Specifications are subject to change without notice. Let's take a look at the tune-up parts that are not included. Compatible with a variety of M-06 and M-05 option parts for customized settings. These are the basic upgrade parts: M-05 ball bearing set, M-05 aluminum steering post, high torque servo saver, M chassis aluminum damper set. I'll probably get these. Touring car short spring set, M-05 and M-06 aluminum rear upright, lightly tuned motor, 28 turns, M-05 assembly universal shaft set, M chassis reinforced freewheel axle set. And these are the items we need to finish the kit: a 3-channel transmitter, a battery charger, servo, an ESC which is included, a receiver, and also batteries for the transmitter. Alright, there isn't much on the other two ends. Let's get it open. Right away I see the ESC. Yes, it is. This is the Hobbywing 1060 electronic speed controller. And they've included a little double-sided tape for the switch. This is the H parts tree. Everything here goes on the body shell. You can see these are the two light buckets, and this is the rear spoiler. These two pieces are part of the rear brake lights, and I see here the side mirrors. And of course, this is the Lotus Europa special body shell. M chassis bodies are so small. I'm going to paint this with a special color scheme. The front kind of reminds me of an MGB or an early model 240Z. And the rear reminds me of an 80s Toyota MR2. And these are some foam pads. I'm not sure what they're for, but when I go through the manual, I'll try to figure it out. This is the F parts tree. These are the front uprights, and those are the rear. And these are the front C-hubs. Let's take a look at what's inside this one. This bag contains the C parts tree. There are two of them. I recognize the damper bodies. These are the front and rear body posts. I think this is a part of the lower arms. And I just see other parts of the dampers. That's about it. This is the D parts tree. These are parts of the gearbox case. This is a skid plate, and these are the wheel hex hubs. I think these parts are part of the chassis. Yep, these pieces right here, when they're installed in different positions, it allows you to build this kit in 3 different wheelbase lengths. And this is the E parts tree. I also see a couple pieces which I think are part of the damper stays. And these are the wheels. I think I'm going to have to glue these to the tires. I love this retro styling. And these have so much detail. I'm going to give these a 2-tone paint job. These are all the bigger pieces of the chassis. This is the B parts tree. That is the battery holder. This holds the front bumper. This is the front bulkhead. I think the rest are just mounts for different parts of the chassis. This looks like a mixed bag. A little bit of everything. This is the A parts tree. I think this is the steering bridge, and this is the rear part of the chassis. I see the servo horn, and the servo mounts are where my thumbs are. Let's see what's next. This car has a 2-piece chassis, and this is the front part. And how you mount the back half determines the wheelbase of the car. I think this would be considered a tub design. And these are the rubber tires. There's 2 sets. I'm going to assume it's the front and the rear. Let's see. They look about the same diameter and the same width. So I don't know how you would tell the difference. But we'll find out. And here's a giant bag of all the small parts. The screws, springs, nuts, washers, shafts, and the plastic bearings. Pretty much all of the hardware. Looks like it's just A, B, and C bags. I see the gears and the servo saver. And this is the motor. Kind of disappointed this is just a 540J and not the Torque Tune or the Sport Tune motor. Let's start with the A parts bag. I can see the brass bearings, the motor plate. These are the differential gears. I see some screws, plastic bearings, pinion gear, and these are the gear shafts. And of course, a little tube of Tamiya grease and a cross wrench. I think I saw a couple shims and also an L wrench as well. Let's see what's in the B parts bag. Right away I see the foam bumper. These are the wheel axles and the outdrives. These are rod ends. I see some screw pins and some regular screws. There are more plastic bearings and some ball connectors. That's odd, there's only 3 of this type of rod end. Oh, and the dog bones are in this bag as well. A lot of stuff. And inside the C parts bag, I see the springs, heat shield tape, and some zip ties. I see some screws and washers here. I see the wheel nuts and some step screws. I see a small shaft and some axle pins in here as well. These are the plastic transmission gears. The big one in the middle is the differential. The long one here is the counter gear, and the smaller one is a spur gear. This is the P parts tree, and it has the servo saver on here. This bag is for the body. There's some body pins, and these gray U-shaped things are used as wire retainers for the LED lights. Alright, and this is the instructions on how to put together the Lotus Europa body. The top part there tells you which antenna holder to use and where to mount it. This part talks about trimming, masking, and painting the shell. And this section shows you the location and sequence of applying the decals. This shows you how to put together the front and rear light buckets, as well as the spoiler. And this last box shows you how to mount the body onto the chassis. And this is Tamiya's disclaimers all on one page. It comes with every RC car kit. You can read through it if you're ever bored. And this is the M-06 chassis manual. We're going to go through this in a minute. And this is the decal sheet. Unfortunately, Tamiya decals are not pre-cut. These are the caution stickers. And these are the window masks. Oh, and there's an antenna tube as well. Alright, let's flip through the M-06 chassis manual. The front cover just points out a few features, like the sealed gearbox with differential, coil spring dampers, double wishbone suspension, and things like that. The first page talks about the required items, such as a correct size servo, some of the tools you'll need, and the electronic components. These are some of the safety precautions you should take. And it continues in the back. This tells you to read the manual before starting the build. And this talks about the Tamiya radio systems. This tells you the M-06 chassis can be assembled into 3 wheelbases by altering the rear section. We're going to start the kit right here by building the differentials. We're going to put the differential into the gearbox. Then we're going to add some mounting hardware. And then finish building the transmission. Here we're attaching rear arms. And then the gear case. We're going to start working on the motor by putting on a pinion gear. Then we're going to mount the motor into the gearbox. And this is where we're going to start building the chassis. Notice this box is for the M-06 short wheelbase. We're going to be following this one instead. Notice we're going to be using the same pieces, just in different positions. And over here we're going to be putting on the rear upper arms and mounting the rear axles. Over here we're going to put on the rear damper stay, then build the front arms and attaching them to the chassis. On this side is the entire steering assembly and the front axles. Here we're going to put on the front axles and we're going to have to build some turnbuckles. We're going to install the front bulkhead, the damper stay, and the bumper. Right here we're going to assemble the rear dampers and then we're going to mount them onto the chassis. Then we'll do the same for the front. This step we're going to test the electronics and put on the servo saver. Then we'll mount the servo onto the chassis and put in the rest of the electronics. We'll put together the wheels and tires and glue them together. We're going to put the wheels onto the car. This is the battery holder, and there are different battery positions depending on the wheelbase. These are optional aluminum oil-filled dampers. The Tamiya parts number is 54000. And the final step is to put on the body posts. There's a little section about setup, how to change the camber angle and toe in, toe out. This page talks about some safety precautions. Here's some practice tips and a troubleshooting guide. The next few pages shows you all the parts that come with the kit. The darker color parts are not going to be used. These are some of the gears and the A parts tree. Here's the other side of that yellow safety precaution sheet in Japanese. More contents of the A parts bag. This is what's in the B parts bag and the C parts bag. The back page has part numbers for this car and how much they cost in Japanese yen. Alright, and that's the Tamiya M-06 Lotus Europa Special Car Kit. Thanks for watching this unboxing video. If you got anything out of it, please drop a like, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys in the next one.